everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Christine. I'm here to do my weekly wrap-up and what I'll be reading this week. I will give you a quick update on my sister-in-law. As you know, she had kidney cancer. She had her kidney removed December, I want to say. Yeah, it was before Christmas. So the doctors up here didn't let the doctors down in London know how bad it was, so the tumor had burst. They thought they had got it all. They didn't. So now she was on chemo. It had spread to her bones. She had radiation, cleared that. We found out last Wednesday that the chemo that she was on was not helping for, I think it's in her stomach now. And so they had to stop that. Then she ended up in the hospital Wednesday night. Yeah, Wednesday night. We found this out, I think, Tuesday, that she had fluid around her heart. So Wednesday she was hospitalized to monitor that to see if her heart could withstand any more chemo, because they had other treatments that they want to give her. And we thought there was no more treatments left. So they did the procedure. She got out, I want to say Saturday. They did the procedure Friday night. And she was home Saturday, and she was put back in the hospital last night, because she can't digest food. So if you can still keep her in your prayers and thoughts. I don't know what's going on right now. We haven't heard back from his mom. So my husband is out measuring roofs, because he's a roofer. So I figured I'd come on and try to do this quickly. So the books that I finished. The first one was Ready for Her Close-Up by Catherine Gerbera, and it's book 1 in the Matchmakers Inc. series. I gave this a 2. It was just so ridiculous. The way it was that I thought she had come up with this idea, but no, she had gone into a service, asking a service to match her up with a man, because she was a workaholic and she didn't want to do it herself, I guess. She was just too busy, so she wanted them to match her up with somebody. So they matched her up with a TV personality who, one of those Playboy kind of deals. And it was just, I don't know, you didn't feel anything with them. There was a couple of things that irked me, and now it's just escaping me because it's been over a week that I read it. But she was just, it wasn't so much him, it was her that drove me nuts. I know I'm not doing a really good job. I'm sorry. Let's see. I'll read you the back just to get a sense. Sexy and single, and New Zealand billionaire Russell Holloway intends to stay that way, despite appearing on a matchmaking reality TV show. All he wants from his wholesome bachelorette is to whitewash his reputation so he can score a merger of a lifetime. That's right. He is a big mogul when it comes to like Club Med, stuff like that. And he wants to get into the family business. And there's this company that he wants to buy, and they don't want a playboy. They want a family man. So he keeps saying that he's not doing this matchmaking thing, or he's not staying with her, continuing on, because of this merger, and yet he is. And then she was just like, well, he just wants me as his next notch on, the bedpost thing. And it was just, I give it a 2. This is going bye-bye. The next book I read was Man of My Dreams by Joanna Lindsay. This is book 1. I forget what the series is called. I honestly do. But it's a historical romance. What is this one about? Oh, right. She is, her father has like a stable and she rides horses. And this man posing as a horse trainer is bringing this beautiful horse to the father's stables and he's hiding out. So he has had this letter saying from Duke Rothston that for the duration that he's there, her father owns the horse, but he doesn't really. And she wants to ride the horse, but he says no. He really is the Duke of Rothston. He his best friend wants to kill him in a duel because they think that his best friend's sister says that she's pregnant with his child. He never slept with her. But his best friend believes it, even though of all the hijinks that she had put on their whole entire lives. So, sorry. What is her name? Megan Penworthy thinks he's cute, but he's beneath her, and she can't fall in love with somebody. And she had made a plan that she was going to marry the Duke of Rothston without even meeting him because she wants to snub this little old biddy who invites everybody to her parties except for Megan Penworthy because she's so beautiful that she outshines her 3 daughters. It's cute. I give it a 4. There's just, she's my favorite author, but I like some of her other books better. So yeah, or one of my favorite authors. The next book that I finished was Night by Elie Wiesel. Heartbreaking. There is so much in this book. And I read this I read the other 2 for the Triple RC challenge. This one I read for Summer Romance Book Bingo. And it is Read a Book with a One-Word Title. So I finally have my first book for that. This is the true memoir of Elie Wiesel being taken in, and I had actually seen one of the reviews on Goodreads, and it says over 3 years. It's not over 3 years. This happens from 1944 to 1945. But it's him and his family they didn't think that the war would come to them. They were too far away in Transylvania, and sure enough, the Germans invade and lock them into like these small areas of town, ghettos essentially, and they can't look out. They can't have anything. They're in their own camp, like prison camp, in their own cities. So then they finally get transported to Auschwitz, and just the stuff that they endure, they managed to escape, like just because of the chaos that's going on. So instead of getting killed, they actually get to a camp. What this man endured is amazing, and I think everybody should read it. My daughter had to read it for school, and she loved it. So I will continue on reading Dawn and then Day. But yeah, wow, just wow. And yeah, wow. And I gave that a 5 stars. It was just wow. So the next book I read was Dirty Secret by Emma Hart, and it's book 1 in the Burke Brothers series. I gave this a 5. It was a wonderful, wonderful story. And the Dirty Secret is because they are a band, the Burke Brothers, but they're called the Dirty Bees. And the secret is that she had a baby, and he didn't know it. It starts off that she has to come back to town. Her father had died, and she has to deal with his house. And it had been 8 months since he had died. She finally came back, and she knew that when she got back, it would get out that she had a child. And she had taken off when she found out she was pregnant. She didn't tell her best friend, which happens to be their sister, and she didn't tell him. She didn't want to be the reason because they were at the verge of getting famous. She didn't want to be the reason that he left the band or stayed, because she didn't want him to feel guilty and resent her for being pregnant. So she went on her merry way. They couldn't find her for 2.5 years. Then she comes back, and yeah, it was fighting off the fans and trying to discover each other again and see if what they knew they had this chemistry. They've had this chemistry since they were kids. And seeing them kind of blossom from it, like instead of teenage crushes, teenage dating to adult love, was so cute. Yeah, it was wonderful. Like, but yeah, seeing them come to terms with things, So yeah, it was definitely a 5. And let's see, I just finished Chasing Perfect by Susan Mallory this morning. This is book 1 in the Fool's Gold series. I gave it a 4. She drove me nuts though. It's about a girl who comes to work in a small town called Fool's Gold, and she's the new city planner. And the funny thing about this town is there's no single men. The men keep leaving. The town is pretty much run by females. There's a few men here and there, but nobody to really speak of, except for Josh. And he is a former bike racer, like Tour de France, like Lance Armstrong. And he had been in an accident, or he had witnessed an accident of one of his teammates. And I'm not going to say what happened because that kind of ties in with what happens later on. But he essentially becomes a business mogul instead of a bike rider, and everybody tries to get him to join these races for charity and stuff like that, raising money, and he keeps saying no and no. So she, being the new girl in town, they meet, and they become a thing. The one thing that drove me nuts about her was because she kept saying, well, I can't get invested with him, I can't get involved with him because he just wants the limelight, he wants the fame, he wants the money, he wants the fans. And I mean, fans were dropping in saying, I'm pregnant with your kid, and stuff like that. And he never once ever showed that. He never said he wanted the limelight. He said, money's not everything. I don't want the fandom. I don't, or, yeah, it's nice, but he doesn't want to be that guy in the poster anymore. He's been there, done that. He doesn't want that anymore. She keeps saying he wants that. He wants that. He's never shown it or said it. He's said the exact opposite, and she keeps saying it. I'm like, enough. So that was the only thing that really drove me nuts. It was a little bit slow in the beginning, but once you get into it, it really goes. So I think that was all the books that I had finished. Yeah. So currently reading. I'm almost done this. After We Collided by Anna Todd. I should be done tonight or tomorrow. I was taking it slow. This might get a 3. At the end of the first book, it is a very toxic relationship, so if you're not into this, don't even bother with it. But at the end of the book, you kind of go, what? So I had to grab this one. And the first little bit, you're like, okay, he's trying. He really is trying. And even though he's a goof, he's trying in his own twisted, sadistic way. He's trying. And you don't want them to be together, and yet you do because he's trying. And by this point, you're like, girl, move on. Move on. It's not worth it. And yet there's 2 other books after this, which I will read because I'm a sucker for punishment, and I want to see how much more shit she can take. Let's put it that way. It's, yeah. He needs help. He needs help. So, I also started The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. I started it, but I wanted to finish the other 2 books first because there are people waiting for the ebook. I had to finish that. There are people waiting for this, so I have to finish this. I put 5 ebooks on hold because there was several different people waiting on them. They all came in within a week. That always happens. So this has gotten put kind of off to the side. Percy Jackson, The Olympians by Rick Riordan. Lightning Thief, I don't know if we're going to continue on to it or not with it. I was reading this out loud with my son. He's not retaining anything. We'll see. I'll try and convince him. We'll see. And I also started today Karen Robard's Dark Torment. For some reason, I have to read it on the tablet. 3 of the 5 ebooks will not download onto my Kobo, no matter how many times I sync them. They will not. And the text seems to be different in this one. So I'm wondering if it's because it's an Amazon EPUB book or an Amazon, is it publishing edition books? That I know, Bright, sorry. But it's kind of different. So I'm wondering if that's why I can't read them on my Kobo. Because they're all on overdrive. Like, they're library ebooks. But I can't get them. And that seems to be the only reason why. So I'm thinking that might be it. So I have to read on my tablet. And I've discovered today that the reason I did not like ebooks beforehand was because it's the tablet. I love my tablet. Not for reading. It's heavy. It's the light, I think, because I was sitting here reading just that one first chapter, and I will tell what it's about in a minute. But I realized that I was trying to nod off, and yet with this, I never have a problem with that. I'm reading them no problem. I'm loving it. It's nice and light. So it's the lighting, I think, because before all I had was a Kobo Vox like years ago, and it was backlit as well, or the bright. No matter how much you change the lighting, it just didn't work. My tablet is bright. This I have set to, like, it's not bright, but it's still bright enough. Like, I mean, it looks brighter on screen, and I think that's why, because I'm loving my Kobo. I'm loving it. I still am a physical books girl, but I'm loving my Kobo. The tablet, not so much. And the next 3 ebooks are on the tablet. So, okay. Well, we'll have to deal with that. But, so, speaking of the Dark Torment, it is a historical romance, and I didn't even for some reason think that. I grabbed it. It's for the RRC, and is it for... No, it's not. But I might be able to fit it in somewhere on the Summer Romance Book Bingo. But it's historical romance. So far, the first chapter was just her and her stepsister are in town in Melbourne, Australia. And she's going to meet up with her dad and the overseer because they have a sheep farm. And they get convicts working on the sheep farm. So he had paid for 6 European convicts. And apparently... the ship's captain is trying to swindle them. There was a guy, I guess a rogue, and they don't want him, like, they don't want rogues on the farm. So the stepdaughter, the stepsister, is one of those melodramatic 16-year-olds who is just will be coming out on her 17th birthday. And the older sister, spinster now because she's 22, and this is 1838, they go down to the dockyards to meet up with their father and his overseer. His overseer is trying to marry the oldest daughter because he wants the farm. And so Liza is the stepsister, and she's like, I can't handle this heat. And she really can't. So Sarah, the spinster, says, I'm going on to the prison ship and get my dad. And the overseer's like, no, 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 you can't. She goes, well, I can't be here with the prisoners by myself, like, you know, female, a married female. So she goes on to the boat and finds a man being whipped. And he's being whipped by the ship's captain, but her dad is standing there with a smirk on his face and blood on him from the blood splatter. And the scene is very gruesome. Like, I've never seen a whipping scene described in that detail. So that's as far as I've gotten. We shall see. I didn't even bring any books to any other books because I will be focusing on this one, the 100-Year-Old Man book, and then I have two other. See, I can actually shelf. The other one I have is Brenda Jackson's book 2 in the Westmoreland series, and it comes as a 5-book series, like 6-book bind up, and it's A Little Dare. It's the one right there. So I'll be getting to that one. And then I also have Mr. Imperfect by Karina Bliss, and there's 2 different covers, but and it's a super romance. So I also, Wednesday afternoon, I'm finally having my tooth pulled, thank God, because I've discovered that my allergies are being caused by my tooth. I didn't think it was a thing, but every time I took my painkillers, the allergies would back off. And I looked online, and sure enough, they can wreak havoc because it's a top one, and it's hitting on my sinuses, and it's just, oh, I will be so glad Wednesday will be over, and my tooth will be gone, and I will be happy, because it's been a rough month. The last 3 weeks, like yesterday and today, it's calmed down, but you can see I'm all splotchy. Like, it's brutal. Brutal. So, yeah, I can't wait till Wednesday. That is it. Wow, 22 minutes. Sorry. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you're participating in Summer Romance Book Bingo. I haven't been as involved because of everything that's, you know, with my sister-in-law and working, because I had to get caught up on a few things before I have my surgery. And yeah, so hopefully after next Wednesday things will calm down. Probably not. But anyways, yeah, let me know if you've read this, if you're participating, if you have any recommendations for me. I'm always open to it. And I think that's it. So I will let you guys go, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.